This video is going to help you identify the major muscles of the gluteal area, the hip, and the thigh. Let's start with our major glute muscle, and that's our gluteus maximus. Gluteus medius can be seen here, just anterior to the gluteus maximus. If we remove the gluteus maximus, you can see the remainder of the gluteus medius muscle that lies deep to the gluteus maximus. So here you've got a full view of gluteus medius. If we remove gluteus medius, you can identify the muscle deep to it, which is our small glute muscle called gluteus minimus. Looking more on the anterior portion of the thigh or hip, need to put gluteus maximus back on. You see a muscle right here that looks very consistent with gluteus medius that we had identified earlier. It's very hard to differentiate these two on this model, but this muscle right here is the Tensor fascia lata muscle. You can correctly identify that as the TFL, is an acceptable abbreviation for Tensor fascia lata muscle. Notice this muscle continues down into this thick piece of tissue that runs clear to your knee. That's called the iliotibial band, or IT band. So Tensor fascia lata muscle, TFL, consistent with the IT band, or iliotibial band. Okay, another muscle that originates around the hip, similar location to the TFL, is this muscle here that runs in a diagonal pattern across the anterior thigh. This is called the sartorius. Looking now at our medial thigh, we have a group of muscles in this area that we call the hip adductors or adductors. The only one that I specifically want you to identify is this long muscle that runs vertically from the area of our pubic bone down to the distal portion of our femur. That is called the gracilis muscle. You may also hear that pronounced gracilis. So gracilis or gracilis muscle. The other muscles that you see on the medial thigh, this one here, this one here, these ones back here, just know those as the hip adductors, adductors, because they bring your leg back to the midline, adductors. Two more large muscle groups that we need to identify are the quadriceps. These are our four large muscles on the anterior portion of our thigh. These muscles extend our knee and they flex our hip because they cross both joints. We are not going to learn their individual names, just know them as the quadriceps. Then on the posterior portion of the thigh, we have a group of muscles that we call the hamstrings. Those are these muscles here. The hamstrings are made up of two muscles that you will learn in another class specifically to differentiate those. But for now, just know that the muscles on the posterior thigh that work together to flex your knee and extend your hip are called the hamstrings.